Hello, everybody. Welcome to another tapping break. My name is Megan Basita. If you don't know me, hello, welcome. I'm an energy management mentor, an EFT practitioner, and a life coach for moms. I help moms to leverage their energy so that they can make the most of their time, especially during this time of year. Now, we all have busy seasons in our life. We all have busy, seasons that are social and cultural, and we also have personal busy seasons in our life. And so this is kind of like an all-in-one right now. We're coming to the end of the year. At the time of this recording, it is December 18th, so we are coming closer to Christmas, the end of the year. So there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of hustle and bustle. And this tapping, I really want to help you feel a little space from that stress, from that rush, from that urgency, from the pressure of the busyness of this time. So wherever you are, you might want to bookmark this and come back to it if you found it helpful. For any other seasons of busyness that happen for you along the way. But first, for now, we're going to focus on kind of that Christmas rush, that Christmas chaos, let's say, that usually comes up this time of year. So not only as personally for the individual, you can feel this rushed sense urgency, this anxiety or stress or overwhelm, but there's also collectively, I think there's a really big, there's a lot of energy, like a lot of momentum built up in this time of year. And so even if you're kind of squared away and you're organized and you have what you need to do done, or you're in your own little organized bubble, the rest of the world outside, even if you have to go to town for groceries, it could be a gong show. And this is personally something that I experience during this time of year, where I get I'm very protective over my time and my space during this time of year. And I made a funny story the other day on Instagram about, I'll circle a parking lot at this time of year, any time of year really, but especially this time of year, I'll circle a parking lot and I'll know whether or not I'm going to be going into that store at that time or not. So I really utilize either online shopping or online ordering, when I go to get grocery store pickups. I have really tried to streamline this time of year so that it is easy for me and that it is efficient for me and that I am prioritizing my time, my space, my energy as much as I can. And I'm being very mindful of my mood and my mindset and my motivation. And I'm adjusting my actions according to my mood, my mindset, and my motivation versus adjusting my actions to what is supposed to be going on. It's what I should be doing, all of those things. So this tapping session, I hope to give you a little bit of space, a little bit of perspective, a little bit of a break from feeling that sense of urgency and that rushed energy that comes along with this time of year, right? Especially if you're an empath or somebody sensitive to energies within your household, you could feel that that energy coming from your kids or your spouse, family, extended family. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of different layers and nuances that happen around Christmas time and the end of the year, moving into the new year. And let's just take a break. Let's just take a little breath today and tap for this Christmas rush. So let's get going. We are going to actually just start by tapping on the side of the hand first, taking a nice gentle breath in and out, and say, even though this feels like a really busy time, I feel like I am getting pushed around energetically, emotionally, and mentally. I'd like to give myself a break, but it just feels so hard to do right now. And I'd like to love and accept where I am anyway. Even though this time of year is really busy, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of energy moving right now. I'm picking up on a lot of things. and I feel a bit stressed or anxious or overwhelmed. But I'd like to give myself some space today. And I'd like to love and accept myself where I am. Especially because there's a lot of busy energy right now. I feel like I have to try to keep up, when really I just want to take a break. Part of me just really wants a break. I love and accept all these parts of me today. And I hope that I can give myself what I need with love and acceptance now. Okay, we're going to go to the top of the head. I have so much running around to do. Eyebrow points. I have people to get in touch with. Side of the eye. I have presents to wrap. Underneath the eye, I have meals to plan. Underneath the nose, the kids are home 24/7 right now. Underneath the mouth, it feels like I am constantly being pressured. Collarbone point, somebody constantly needs me. Underneath the arms, there's so many little fires going on right now. Underneath the chest. And because of this time of year, wrist points, everything feels major. Top of the head. There's only so much of me to go around. Eyebrow point. There's only so much that I can think and do. Side of the eye. My emotions are running really high too. Underneath the eye. I'd like to sit down and enjoy this time. Underneath the nose, but that just doesn't seem possible. Underneath the mouth, and this makes me pissed off. Collarbone point, this makes me sad. Underneath the arms, I wish somebody else would just take over for me. Underneath the chest, so that I could sit and take a break. Wrist points, or so that I could take a minute to enjoy this time. Top of the head, so many distractions. Eyebrow points, so many interruptions. Side of the eye, it's so hard to keep on track right now. Underneath the eye, it's so hard to stay organized right now. Underneath the nose, I think I have to just keep on pushing through. Underneath the mouth, sacrifice my time and space. Collarbone point, I can focus on me later. Underneath the arms, all of these emotions. Underneath the chest, all of these thoughts. Wrist points, all of these things to do. Top of the head, I feel like I just can't keep up. Eyebrow point, this rushed, pressured sense of urgency. Side of the eye is really taking the spirit out of Christmas. underneath the eye. I give myself permission right now, underneath the nose, to just take a breath, underneath the mouth, to take a minute, collarbone point, and meet myself where I'm at right now. All right. So take a nice gentle breath here, and we're going to hold space for a minute here. I would like you to close your eyes or soften your gaze, stare out the window, look at a plant, something that is soothing and settling to you as much as you can. And just taking a nice gentle breath in and out. And just envisioning that you have got this big basket or this big bundle or this big box of things that you have to take care of. And just take a minute and envision yourself putting, the food, the to-do list, the family, the kids, the presents, whatever else, like the errands, whatever it is, just like picture yourself just shoving everything into this box. And then put a lid on it. Depending on the size of this box, you can put it up on a shelf, put it under the bed, lock it in the garage, whatever you want to do. And we're just going to say back in 5. Have a little sign hanging on that box that says back in 5. And this is a time for you to take a breath, take a break, take a drink of water. You don't have to sit here and close your eyes and be still and settled. You can read a book, read a page of your book, listen to 5 minutes of a podcast, listen to 2 or 3 songs that really help you feel something in this moment. It could help you feel any emotions that are coming up right now for you. Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling disconnected? Are you feeling angry? Do you need to move some of that energy up and out? Like, do you need to move that energy? So depending on where you're at, put on some sad music and set the timer for 15 minutes, or set the timer or make an intention to set that 2 or 3 or 1 or 2, whatever you want to do, songs up. And at the finish, at the last part of the third song, you're going to take another breath, and then you're going to get ready to go back into whatever it was that you were doing before. But create that 5 to 15 minutes that you can to lean into what it is that will help you feel a little more settled. Withdraw from the busyness, withdraw from the hustle and bustle. And it's a really funny thing as a mom. We are the ones who are in charge of so much. We are the ones who coordinate everything. We are the one who schedules everything. We are the ones who are in control of this, but we fail to see that we are in control of implementing or including ourselves in whatever it is that everything, and everything that needs to get done. So I really like to take on the perspective of like, I'm going through this shit, I get to call the shots. That's one of my favorite things. When I was a mom of 2 toddlers, I had 2 young kids. And this is when I started getting into this work. And I was like, nope, I get to call these shots because I'm the one who's doing this shit. My husband wasn't here doing this shit. He was working. He was doing his part. He was doing whatever he needed to do. My contribution, I get to include myself. When it comes to what I do on a daily basis, I schedule myself in. This is a non-negotiable as far as for myself. And this is what I've had to practice and what I've had to get really familiar with, right? So it's not about doing it once and feeling really shitty about it and then just, it doesn't work anymore. No, it's a consistent practice, and it's something that you need to get familiar with because we have been decades worth of conditioning, generations worth of conditioning where, as a mom, we have to put everybody before us, right? And the other way that I like to look at this is if I am pouring, if I'm trying to give from an empty cup, if I'm trying to give from a depleted state of energy, when I'm trying to give from impatience and anger and frustration, if I am trying to give from, if I'm trying to give the last little bit of my love, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. Don't get me wrong. You're going to be able to give and give and give and give until there's nothing left to give, which is, can manifest in many, many different ways. But you're going to be able to do it. But do you want to do it? Do you want to be angry and miserable and bitter and resentful to your family because you were not able to give to yourself as well? And I have a lot to say on this, so I'm going to keep it short, but it's really something like if you're giving from a fuller cup, if you're giving from a more fulfilled energetic state, if you have more patience and more presence to be able to give, you have to give that to yourself first in order to. So it's actually a disservice to keep on giving until you are depleted and you are, a shell of a person, really. And it's a disservice to yourself, it's a disservice to your family, and it's a disservice to anybody who's in your world. If you can give from a fuller cup, if you can give from a fuller state of energy, a more replenished and a more restored or recuperated state of energy, you are going to be being more of service and support to yourself and those around you, because it's going to be easier, because it's like a momentum thing, right? So if you're pouring from an empty cup, you have no energy behind the momentum, and you're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep doing it. You'll be able to do it, but you will be stretched so thin, like I said, it'll be like a shell of a person. So if you don't want to get to that, or if you're already at that place and you want to switch that up or shift that, then start giving to yourself. And it's slow, steady, incremental practice. Okay. So we're going to do another tapping, and we're really going to focus on you. This is for you. This is for you to get some space, for you to get some perspective. This is for you to release any feelings. Of course, this is not live, so I don't know exactly how you are coming to this video, but give yourself the rest of this video to just express the emotions, to switch words up that may not resonate for you and switch words in that do resonate for you. So you can rearrange the words that I'm saying and you can fill in the blank essentially. So we're going to go ahead and tap again on the side of the hand and say, even though in the past the season has been for everybody else, I have put myself on pause. Whatever I want or need goes on the back burner. Today, I'm going to give myself a minute. And I love and accept this part of me today. Even though it feels like there's too much to do. It feels like everybody else needs me first. I'm starting to realize that if I am a shell of a person, if I am bitter and resentful, those who need me are only going to get bitterness. They're only going to get resentment. And they're only going to get the shell of me. And I give myself permission today to gather back some energy. Especially because I don't want that to happen. I don't want to be bitter and resentful and a shell of a person. I don't want my life to be sucked dry of joy and fun. I'm giving myself permission to take this minute today. and gather some energy for myself. Top of the head. I'm choosing to take some energy for myself. Eyebrow point. I'm choosing to take some time for myself. Side of the eye. If I would like to be a better mom, underneath the eye, I am going to take some time for me. Underneath the nose. I can't pour from an empty cup. Underneath the mouth. It's a disservice to me and my family. Collarbone point. To be stretched so thin. Underneath the arms. To the point that I feel brittle and breakable. Underneath the chest. I forgive myself for believing that this is the only way. Wrist points. I forgive myself for believing. Top of the head. That I have to sacrifice my time and energy. Eyebrow point. In order to be a good mom. Side of the eye. In order to be a good person. Underneath the eye. I'm ready to do this differently today. Underneath the nose. Even if just for a minute. Underneath the mouth. I'm going to practice fulfilling my energy. Collarbone point. Giving myself time and space. Underneath the arms. I feel better when I do. Underneath the chest. I have more patience and presence when I do. Wrist points. I can manage and mitigate the stress more easily. Top of the head. I can manage and organize much easily. Eyebrow point. I have better communication. Side of the eye. Things just seem to run a lot more smoothly. Underneath the eye. So yes, there's a lot of things to do. Underneath the nose. But if I don't take care of myself, underneath the mouth, if I don't give back to me, collarbone point, those things might not get done at all. Underneath the arms. Or if they do get done, they're going to be poorly done. Underneath the arms, underneath the chest. And that's just not good enough for me anymore. Wrist points. And so I'm ready to do something different today. Top of the head. I'm ready to see my value. Eyebrow point. I'm ready to see my worthiness. Side of the eye. And I'm leveraging my power today. Underneath the eyes. I'm the one that schedules and makes sure everything happens. Underneath the nose. I am the director here. Underneath the mouth. And it's time that I choose to put me in place too. Collarbone point. It's time that I choose to make myself matter. Okay. So just taking a nice gentle breath there. Have some water. Just seeing where you're landing right now, seeing how you feel. So there's a lot of different avenues that probably are coming up. I can feel a sense of something that I've seen a little bit over the last couple of weeks, especially during this time of year, how as a mom, we don't actually want to be the director for a minute, right? We don't actually want to control. We don't want to make the plans. We don't want to make the schedule. It would be great if somebody else could do that. If somebody else could plan and manage and schedule and direct how, an hour or a day or an outing or whatever it might be. If we could just be let off the hook, that would be, the best Christmas present for a mom, I think. And it's absolutely 110% true. And I have noticed for myself that, and I've been reflecting back on a time when that's what I really wanted. I didn't want to have somebody ask me what I wanted. I wanted somebody to just know what I wanted. Like, I know what people want as a mom. Like, I know what my kids want. Like, I know what my kids need. Like, I am nurturing and supportive and I'm there for them. I want somebody to be like that for me. And it's a very tricky thing, but I want to do this last round, a quick round on just receiving that. I think one of the biggest things that I ran into and one of the biggest things that I see, a mistake that I see, is that women want that, moms want that, but then they can't accept it. They can't receive it. They have a really hard time letting go of that control. They have a hard time letting go of, quote unquote, that job. This was a big thing for me. I thought that I was, I thought that I was not doing my job. I thought that I was slacking, so to speak, if I let somebody else come in and take over for me. And there's many different ways that I've had to work with myself and hold space for myself and move through this with myself and also with a coach or mentor. And so, but let me tell you, it is 110% worth the investment in taking the time to understand that you might still want those strings attached. You might still want it done your way. So having somebody else come in and, offer to do something or to take over for you is kind of a scary thing. It is kind of too much of a surrender point. It's a little too much, but I do think that you can get there. Absolutely. And it's, like I said, the investment in making sure that you can get there is, it's priceless. It is honestly a priceless thing. So one of the areas that this has come into play for me is when my husband, he works shift work a lot. So when he's home, he likes to get up and do the lunches for the kids in the morning. And I absolutely it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. I'm not a morning person, so I like the snooze button. So when he is home, I take full advantage of that. But in the beginning, when he started doing that, I was just like, whoa, like, am I allowed to take this time? Am I allowed to sleep in an extra 15, 20 minutes because he's doing that? He's getting the kids up. He's like helping them with breakfast. He's doing their lunches. Like, he's doing the morning routine. Like, is that allowed? Am I not doing my job? Am I a bad mom? There was a lot of guilt that came up, and there was a lot of judgment that came up. And so I had to really work through that for myself. And then I had to have a conversation with him. And let me tell you, the work that you do for yourself is really important, but the way you get to a point where you can ask your spouse, you can ask your partner, and like have a conversation about what that means for them to be able to do it, that's when it really hit home for me. So for me, when I got to the place where I was like, okay, like I asked him and I was like, is this like, do you think I'm doing a bad job as a mom? Like, are you trying to take over? Are you, are you mad at me? Like, or do you feel like resentment towards me that you have to get up and do these things when you're home? And those were the worst case scenarios that I thought was going through. Like, that's the part of the conversation that was taking over in my head, that I was controlling. I was like, my head was taking over that, and it was really trying to grapple with that control. And the opposite end of the conversation, when I actually asked him, was so beautiful, and it's just very heartwarming. It was like he wanted to do it. He wants to be a part of the kids. He's away for a lot of the time, so he wants to be a part of it. He wants to do the things. And he didn't have that growing up either, right? So I had my mom, he had his mom. Like, we both come from like families that had you know breakups, I guess, right? So it was important to him to be able to be involved in that, because he didn't have his dad involved in that and he wanted it. And also he misses a lot of the time when he's away working, so he wanted to be involved in that. So I highly recommend getting to a place where you are a little more neutral and not as reactive when you are feeling like somebody's coming in and taking over, and it is what you want, but you feel like you still have some control, you still have some emotions wrapped up in that is keeping you from actually surrendering and feeling satisfied with that. Like, you're actually grateful for it, you appreciate it. You want to work through any of the lingering emotions that are tied into that for yourself, and then, or during that same time, it doesn't have to be in any specific order, but making sure that when you ask your spouse or your partner, whoever it is that's coming in to help you and support you and like is trying to give you what you want, really coming at them from a neutral place as much as possible, because you don't want to deter that, right? And ask them why it's important to them to do what they are wanting to do. And I think that is sometimes the biggest gift, is because we're actually letting somebody come in and we're allowing, think about it. When you try to offer somebody to something, like, you really genuinely want to help somebody. Like, I mean, take a coffee, right? You're out for coffee with a friend, you want to buy their coffee, and they put up a front. They put a nope, and there's like an argument. It's just like really weird energy sometimes. So if you can allow and receive as graciously as you give, you're actually, again, letting somebody else step in and help out and feel good too, right? So anyway, there's so many things to this. I think this last round, we're just going to do tapping and breathing, and just like receiving the energy, receiving the shifts, we're not going to like try to manage or manipulate or control the last round. We're just going to tap and breathe and receive. So we're going to start at the top of the head and take a nice gentle breath in and out. Eyebrow point. Allowing yourself to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Just taking a gentle breath in and out. And side of the eye. Again, taking a nice gentle breath in and out. And receiving this time and space for you. Underneath the eye. Taking a nice gentle breath in and out. Underneath the nose. Breathing in and out. Underneath the mouth. Breathing in and out. Collarbone point. Breathing in and out. underneath the arms. Breathing in and out. Underneath the chest. Breathing in and out. And wrist points together. Woo. Breathing in and out. All right. So you can stop tapping and just take a moment here to just be on the receiving end of space and time being held for you. And just taking some gentle breaths here and just leaning into the space that you've created for yourself here today. And really just finding some appreciation for yourself, some gratitude in taking this time out for yourself and just knowing, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally, knowing that you needed a break, you needed some space, and you gave it to yourself. And just, your future self is going to thank you for this. And the more you practice this, the more patience and presence you're going to be able to give to others, the more you're going to be able to neutrally approach situations that are going to want to make you react or respond in intense ways. Things are still going to happen. Life still happens. This does not negate life. This does not eliminate the hustle and the bustle and what's going on with everybody else and what's going on this time of year. But it really gives you a fresh perspective. It gives you some rest, gives you some respite, and it takes you out of that hustle and bustle so that you can give yourself something that you need. So another great question to ask yourself every day, or when you feel like you're able to, whenever it comes to your mind, is what are you lacking? What are you craving? And sometimes they're the same thing. And sometimes when I ask myself what I'm lacking, it's different than what I'm craving. But both of those questions it's really there. You'll be surprised to maybe what comes up instead of what do you want or what do you need. It's like, what are you lacking? What are you craving? It's different words that elicit different feelings in the body, different thoughts, and just a different perspective to try on. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you found a little bit of space, a little bit of neutrality in all of the hustle and bustle during the Christmas season. Merry Christmas. Have an amazing Christmas. Have a happy new year. I'm sure I will be on here before with another tapping break before the new year, but if not, have an amazing end to December, and we will see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.